concentrate on Sri Ramakrishna and pray for the well-being of the whole mankind. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya Chadamasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Chadamasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. In the last 5 classes we have been discussing how to go towards God, what are the steps to be taken, how should we set our mind so that it goes straight towards God. So today also I am continuing the same topic. It's very important from the spiritual point of view. And why it is so difficult to realize God? Because everybody talks about God, everybody tells that there is the Supreme Lord of the universe, who is the father, mother, friend, who is protecting all the beings in this universe. He is very lovable. As mother loves her child, the Supreme God loves His created beings. The whole universe is loved by God. God loves the whole universe. Because of His love, the whole universe is carrying on its play. But then, why it is so difficult? Why it is difficult to see God, who is very lovable? It is not difficult to find out the reason for it. The reason is the mind is not interested in God. That's the reason. Then where it is interested? It is interested in the world. It is interested in the pleasures of the world. It is interested in the enjoyment of the objects of the senses. So all the time one is hankering after fulfilling his desires. So he is engaged in that direction. So mind is running after, one after the other, desires after desires. The come and pounce upon the mind, and the mind tries to get itself entangled in those desires. So, even though you hear about God, even though you hear about spiritual ideas, yet you are not able to perceive, you are not sufficiently motivated towards seeing God. Motivation comes only when the mind is to a certain extent freed from the distracting desires. The desires are compared to pickles. Generally the pickles are appetizer. During taking food, if you just taste a little bit of pickle on the tongue, your tongue immediately waters. It wants the food. The food becomes tasteful by the touch of the pickle. So, pickle is the catalyzing agent. It inspires you to take food, to eat food tastily. So the desires are compared to the pickles. So, as long as the pickles are there, the patient cannot be cured of his disease. A certain patient, he is not supposed to take pickles. But if it is in the room, he takes somehow, and his disease cannot be cured. So what should be done? The person should be removed for a few days to another place where there are neither pickled tamarind nor water jars. Then, after some days, the patient will be cured. When he is cured, if he returns to his old room, he will have nothing to fear of the pickle anymore, because pickle will not do any harm, because he has acquired his normal health. A normal healthy person doesn't have to worry about taking the pickles. On the other hand, he enjoys the food. In the same way, a person living a family life must, before enjoying the family way of life, he should strengthen his spiritual aptitude. That's very important. Develop that spiritual aptitude. Develop love for the lotus feet of God through the practice of spiritual disciplines in solitude. Get away from your usual distracting place. Go to a place away from all these disturbing factors. Stay there for a few days, strengthen your mind, and then come back. You will be safe forever. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of butter, to get the butter from milk, what you should do? First of all, you must set the milk into curd in a secluded spot. Then you have to allow some time. But if it is too much disturbed, milk won't turn into curd. Curd means yogurt. So, in the same way, you must go to solitude and engage yourself in spiritual practices, repetition of divine name, meditating on God, reading holy scriptures. Next, you must put aside all other duties. Sit in a quiet spot and then churn the curd, churning the yogurt. When you churn it, then you get butter. The place of solitude can be, according to Sri Ramakrishna, within your mind. A secluded corner of your home. That means you have kept a separate shrine for yourself to go and sit and offer your worship and prayers, where no other thing is allowed inside. So you must maintain the sanctity and sacredness of the place where you want to offer prayer and meditation. So, once you enter into the shrine room, that is, you are entering into solitude. It doesn't mean you should go to forest to have that experience of solitude. What solitude really means is that no disturbing factor should be around you. You must take such steps, no disturbs you. There was one devotee. He was from Glen, Michigan. He was initiated disciple of Swami Yatishwarananda ji, who was in America for a few years. And then Swami Yatishwarananda ji became the head of the Ramakrishna Mission Bangalore, from where I come from. This particular American, Glen, he was initiated in America. He had tremendous devotion to the Guru. So, he would all the way come from America to India, to Bangalore, South India. He would stay in the ashrama about a month or so, and then he would come back to America. Every year, he would come and stay for a month or so in Ramakrishna Ashram in Bangalore, where Swami Yatishwarananda ji, his guru, was available for him for consultations and discussions. That devotee, he was very sincere about his aspiration, about his spiritual practices. So what he did was, he requested the Swami to give him a place where he would construct a cottage, so that whenever he would come from America, he would stay in that cottage and do practices. And Swamiji agreed. And he constructed beautiful cottage with all the facilities. And then all alone he would stay. Of course, inside the Ramakrishna Ashram premises. He would take food and everything in the ashram, and he would spend his time in meditation studies and discussing spiritual matters with his guru. I was brahmachari at that time. I was a novice. That cottage was situated near the flower garden. I was a pujari, worshipper. I used to worship Sri Ramakrishna even in Bangalore. So I used to go for plucking flowers in the garden. Then I saw this cottage. What surprising thing I saw was, he had put a sign in front of the door. No disturbance, nobody should call in meditation. Like that. That means that person would be in meditation, nobody should call him and nobody should disturb him. So he wanted to make sure that nobody would come and tap the door and make any noise. I was so surprised how that person was so meticulous, and he would sit for hours, minimum 2 hours, minimum. That Glen devotee, he has passed away. Because as soon as he came here, I inquired by seeing Glen on the way to Ganges. He said there's a signboard going to Glen. Immediately remembered the gentleman. His name was Glen Overton. I wanted to see where is he, but then he had passed away. To practice that, to spend his time in solitude for a month, he would come from America to India. In India, he would come from north to south. And I should say, he was really very fortunate and blessed, because he had good opportunity of associating himself with his spiritual master. So, that how could he go like that? Every year, during a particular month, he would come. How could he go? Because the mind is interested. He was interested in spiritual disciplines. He was interested in serving the Guru. So, he had given first priority for the upliftment of his spiritual personality. So, money was no problem for him. Somehow he would arrange and come and stay there. That's the value of solitude. What Sri Ramakrishna is trying to tell is that you must develop love towards God. You must develop deep interest in God. Deep interest, once you get in the mind, to that extent mind doesn't care to go outside. It doesn't want any things of the world. It just doesn't go up there. That's the stage. Sri Ramakrishna once advised a judge to take a room near his home for his spiritual practices, so that he could come home only for his meals. After his food, etc., he should go and engage himself in spiritual practices. To an old man, Sri Ramakrishna said, he should fix a place for meditation at least half a mile away from his home. The need of going into solitude is to go completely out of the physical surroundings of the usual worldly environment, and he should cut off all his mental attachments towards them, so that both physically and mentally he will be free to call on God. When you practice discipline in solitude, keep yourself entirely away from all encumbrances, family, friends, relations, children. Everything must be kept at a distance during the period of your sadhana. So you must not allow any of those members to come and disturb you. At that time, don't have any relations with the outside world, and don't hold any conversation with worldly people. Don't engage yourself in any worldly affairs. So, Sri Ramakrishna is telling you, either you must be in solitude, totally devoting your mind in spiritual practices, or alternately, Sri Ramakrishna is suggesting you to be in the company of holy persons. To be in holy association is as good as practicing spiritual discipline. It all depends upon how you really follow the instructions. The greatest thing which the aspirant can achieve in solitude is the establishment of a close relationship with the Divine Lord. What you see in seclusion, only two entities. One is yourself and the other Divine Lord. None else. He becomes your own and you his. You feel God's love and God's grace flowing into you. You can pray to Him, you can meditate on Him, you can talk to Him. Sri Ramakrishna is saying you can communicate with God in this way. Sri Ramakrishna himself was communicating with Divine Mother Kali, whom he worshipped, whom he realized. And then Sri Ramakrishna asks you to weep for God in solitude with a longing heart. Where else can you do this? Sri Ramakrishna explains it with a simile. The mind is like a needle covered with mud. Needle covered with mud. And God is like a magnet. The needle cannot be united with the magnet unless the needle is free from the mud. The mud coating must be cleared off from the needle, then it is attracted towards the magnet. So the mud must be washed away. So tears wash away the mud covering the mind or occupying the mind. What is that mud? Lust, anger, greed, hatred, jealousy. All these things are the impurities blocking the mind. These must be washed away, and To wash you require water, you know. So tears wash away the mud. And the inclination to worldly enjoyments also get destroyed. As soon as the mud is washed away, the magnet attracts the needle. That's to say, man realizes God. Once the needle is free from mud, instantly it is drawn as fast as possible towards the magnet. It comes and sticks to the magnet. So what Sri Ramakrishna is telling is that one should become pure-hearted to see God. You have to become pure-hearted to see God. While practicing discipline in solitude, Sri Ramakrishna tells, think like this. You have to think, there is nobody in this world who is my own. Those whom I call my own are here only for a few days. God alone is my own. He alone is my all in all. Alas, how shall I realize Him? You must also pray to God with tears in your eyes for knowledge, for devotion, for discrimination, for renunciation, for detachment and yearning. All that is needed to reach Him while living a householder life and to lead you by your hand on the right path. If a person is able to weep for God, he will see Him. He will go into samadhi. That is, he gets total absorption in the divine form of God. He achieves kumbhaka, that is, without any yogic exercises, his breath is suspended for a while if he but weeps for God. So when he is reaching that state, the next stage is imminent, and that is samadhi. And Sri Ramakrishna tells further, in this modern age, if a person can weep for God one day and one night, he will see Him. But it is not easy to weep like that, not easy at all. While stressing the need to go into solitude for spiritual disciplines, Sri Ramakrishna doesn't ask you to leave home altogether. Whenever you have leisure, go into solitude. Whenever you find leisure, go into solitude. Be associated with holy. It may be for a day or two, it may be for 3 days, it may be for 12 days, it may be for 1 month, 3 months, or a year, according to your convenience and ability. But when you go into solitude, you must be very much aware of what you would be doing during that period. Coming into solitude, if you waste your time in all dirty things, then instead of purifying your heart, you are just throwing more mud into the mind. That should not be. So, spiritual practices must be undertaken with full awareness, full consciousness. You know what you are doing all the time. That's very important. There may be a doubt. Does not crying weaken the mind and develop inferiority complex? This can be a question in the minds of people. But Sri Ramakrishna says that weeping for God helps you to smash your ego and surrender yourself under the protection of the Lord, the Almighty. The ego is tossing you in the world among lust, anger and etc., which will only exhaust you and drain off your strength. Weeping for God breaks this ego, that is ignorance, and gives you knowledge, dispassion and devotion, which will only make you strong to brave the rigorous Maya. Then you become His child and receive His grace. In the world, you are being slowly digested by your environment of lust and greed, and crying for God removes ignorance, makes you aware of the divinity within, and makes you strong enough to digest your environment in turn. But who cries for God? People shed a whole jug of tears for many things, for family, for relations, for friends. Is that not weakness? Anyway, Sri Ramakrishna has given most valuable suggestion that one should pay utmost importance to clear off the impurities of the mind, to make the mind more and more interested in God. In order to do that, you have to go into solitude or a place where nobody disturbs you, temple or church, any place where you find the divine atmosphere. There you must go and set yourself in spiritual disciplines. And when you are doing spiritual practices, be fully aware of what you are doing, what you are thinking. That way, every moment of the time spent in solitude becomes very useful, and you will be immensely benefited, and mind becomes more and more interested in spiritual ideas. Let us stop at this point. I will continue the same topic next Tuesday also. It's nice to know all the ideas clearly so that there is no confusion in the matter of spiritual life. Confusions are imposed upon the mind. Really speaking, there is no confusion at all. The spiritual idea is very clear, and only you must like it. Once the liking comes, everything becomes easy. Page 642. The carriage drove on. The master noticed that M had brought some clothes for him. M had with him 2 pieces of unbleached and 2 pieces of washed cloth. But the master had asked him only for the unbleached ones. He said to M, "Give me the unbleached ones. You may keep the others. All right, you may give me one of them." Master Maharshya said, "Then shall I take back 1 piece?" Master said, "Then take both." Yam, "As you please, sir." Master said, "You can give me those when I need them." You see, yesterday Benny Paul wanted me to carry away some food for Ramlal. I told him I couldn't. It is impossible for me to lay up for the future. M said, "That's all right, sir. I shall take back the 2 pieces of washed cloth." Master said tenderly, "Don't you see? If any desire arises in my mind, it is for the good of you all. You are my own. I shall tell you if I need anything." Master Maharshi humbly said, "Yes, sir." Referring to a devotee, Sri Ramakrishna said, "I said to him yesterday, tomorrow I shall go to Burra Bazaar. Please meet me there." Do you know what he said? He said, "The tram fare will be 1 anna. Where shall I get it?" He had been to Benipal's garden yesterday and had officiated there as priest. No one had asked him to do it. He had put on the show himself. He wanted people to know that he was a member of the Brahmo Samaj. To M he said, "Can you tell me what he meant when he said that the tram would cost him 1 anna?" The conversation turned into Annakuta festival of the Marwaris. Master said to the devotees, "What you have seen here, one sees at Vrindavan too. Rakhal has been seeing the same thing there. But the mound of food at Vrindavan is higher and more people gather there. There you also see the Govardhan hill. That's the only difference. Did you notice the Marwaris devotion? That's the real Hindu ideal. That is the Sanatan Dharma. Did you notice their joy when they carried the image in procession? They were happy to think that they bore the throne of God on their shoulders. The Hindu religion alone is the Sanatan Dharma. The various creeds you hear of nowadays have come into existence through the will of God and will disappear again through His will. They will not last forever. Therefore I say, I bow down at the feet of even the modern devotees. The Hindu religion has always existed and will always exist." M was going home. He saluted the master and got out to the carriage near Shobha Bazaar. Sri Ramakrishna proceeded to Dakshineshwar in a happy mood. This concludes chapter 32. Next Tuesday I will be commencing chapter 33, the title "With Various Devotees." Any questions to ask? You are welcome. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, he can know. Sure. Even ordinarily also, people during their last days, they will somehow come to know they will leave the body. Even ordinary people also will get that premonition. But elements also, they know. Not only that, sometimes it's like they leave the body at will. They think my work is over, I should get out of this place. Then they get out. Just like going out from one room to another. And it is possible that yogis certainly do that way. And I have seen one yogi in Bangalore who said that he has fixed the date. Yeah, he had fixed the date, and on a particular date he would go and sit in meditation, and he had given the timings. After half an hour, he has put the time also. After half an hour or so, the meditation place was constructed in the basement, About 10 steps below the ground, 10 steps below the ground level. And then the seat was made, meditation seat. And I happened to see him, some of the other brother monks, and we had gone there just to see because the Swami had sent word that he would like to see us, and we also loved to see. It was very near to ashram, about a half an hour drive by car. We went there, and Swamiji was very good. He spoke to us nicely. And at that time itself, he was more than 90 years old. But he was looking very strong, very strong. He was looking physically very strong. And he was telling, and he has fixed the date and such a date, and he would go into samadhi. He would not come back. And he told his attendants to take us to that place, to show that place to us. And the gentleman took us there and showed, and we were surprised to see that. Just a seat was made for him to sit in meditation, and at that appointed time, he went there and sat. Thousands of people had gathered there to see that event. He went just cheerfully, and he also said, if he wants, he can come any time. That also he said. But then he went inside. After that appointed time, it was sealed, concrete, flooring, finished. Yeah, it was closed. After that, after a month or so, again we visited the place, and we saw that place where Swami had gone into it has been completely covered up, sealed up. So, no covering. Not covering. It is cemented. Swamiji had told that once he goes there after that, and it should not be kept open. It should be sealed permanently. Like you can't even make out. So they sealed it on the place where the seat was below. They sealed it, and over that they put some kind of concrete vase on which basil leaves were made to grow. Just basil, we have used it for offering worship. Tulsi, we say. That's it. Huh? No question of cremation. How to cremate? And he's sitting in yogic posture below. And who will see? Who dares to see that? It's not easy. And another Swami, Raghavendra Swami, his name, he's very famous in right side of Sri Ramakrishna's picture. So, once a person has got illumination, he is totally fearless. That's the indication of realization. He is not afraid of death. He is not afraid of anything. That's all. We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty furnace fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O Sweet One, in Thy mercy. Consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.